This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Monday. Welcome back. October 3rd. And today's pod is the best one yet, man.
We're serving up a T-boy.
Because on October 3rd, he asked me what day it was.
It's October 3rd.
Happy Mean Girls Day.
On Mean Girls Day, we wear slammin' salmon.
Keep the pink at home. Jack, what's our first story?
We just got the annual report on what brands Gen Z likes the most.
And honestly, here's the shocker. Gen Z and millennials disagree.
For our second story, Nike stock fell 11% on Friday because Nike's got a problem.
It does.
It's got too much Nike.
Nike is dressing up like Overstock.com this Halloween.
And our third and final story. Surprise!
Yeah, what do we got?
Guess what company is having such a bad year? It is number 499 in the S&P 500.
It's not Quibi. It's Facebook.
Facebook. Second to last.
Facebook is facing the death spiral.
If you ain't last,
yeah,
you're second to last.
Can we say one more thing and make it sound dramatic?
But before we hit that wonderful mix.
It's a great mix of stories, Jack. I love this mix.
Last week, we met a couple of you during the fifth inning.
Yes, we did.
Center field at the Giants baseball game. It was a highlight.
The other highlight of the game and the Crazy Crab sandwiches was the wine.
Because the San Francisco Giants are the only professional sports team with a master sommelier.
Pitchers and Pinots. We had a delightful Sauvignon Blanc.
This sommelier, he wasn't no Olive Garden chicken, Nick.
But here's the funny thing Jack and I found out. Turns out, baseball doesn't have a monopoly on Merlot.
Get this. The Mighty Ducks of Anaheim have the largest wine cellar in all of American sports.
According to Alvin Garcia, who's a sommelier there, the hockey team, the Ducks, has more bottles than any other arena on earth.
The Honda Center, home of the Anaheim Ducks, is home to 250 different wines.
Yeah, quack, 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 Mr. Ducksworth. The largest list of vino from Sonoma to the south of France.
And it makes sense that ice hockey would be the true wine winner.
Absolutely, because you got to keep that Chardonnay slightly chilled, man.
What do you think the Zamboni's for?
I don't know.
It's for the Zinfandel.
Correct answer. Yetis, they don't need a refrigerated cellar in the ice rink.
Just stick the Brunello in the penalty box for a period and pour that
The
thing.
Stanley Cup is called a cup for a reason, Jack.
Put that thing in your face and take a sip.
It's made for sipping.
So, besties, when the NHL hockey season begins this week, remember this.
They're not fighting to be goons.
No, they're not.
They're fighting over grapes.
They're fighting over grapes.
Let's hit our three stories.
15 years before this song, two boys from the Northeast met in a dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your at-list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, we just learned what Gen Z loves, but it's surprisingly different from what millennials love.
Is this a difference in preferences, or is it something else, though?
We talking zillennials? Zillennials?
Let's talk zillennials.
Let's talk zillennials here.
It's our made-up word to describe young people that marketers want.
It's millennials and Gen Z. It's ages 10 to 40. It's a broad spectrum.
The common thing? People who went to college in the era of the smartphone
exactly.
and had to delete party pics from their social media profile.
Like, Jimmy, it's been a great interview, but we noticed you're tagged in a few images as Dr. Kegerator. Care to explain?
Is that kind of thing frowned upon around here?
Well, Morning Consult just interviewed 16,000 U.S. adults to confirm that millennials and Gen Z pretty much the same.
This is an annual survey that just got published.
Right.
Every sales, marketing, and executive reads it because they want to know, what brands did the young kids love the most?
But here's what Jack and I found fascinating. The surprise wasn't what Gen Z loves.
It's where Gen Z and millennials disagree. That's what was interesting.
With statistical significance.
With 99% confidence interval.
N equals 16,000.
The limit to this exam does not exist.
Get this. It turns out that millennials and Gen Z are not the same.
It's not zillennials, actually.
No, like millennials doesn't work.
There's some shocking differences in brand love between the Instagram generation and the TikTok generation.
All right, Jack, let's jump at T-Boy style. What's going on with food?
Millennials came of age, Nick and me, as Kind bars were replacing Kit Kats.
I just had a vegan, like ethically raised almond bar. That's what I just ate,
Kombucha
Jack.
was eating Coca-Cola's lunch.
Right.
As Nick and I came of spending age.
Eating the lunch in a vegan, plant-based way.
But Gen Z, shockingly,
yeah,
prefers the boomer classics that your dentist hates.
Jack, what were Gen Z's favorite food brands?
They want the sugary sweets, the candy.
What were the brands again?
M&M's, Oreos, and Sprite.
That is a difference. Okay, what about communication? The difference between millennials' preferences and Gen Z.
Millennials prefer sending message by iMessage, and we're intimidated by Discord and Twitch, to be honest.
But here's the funny thing. Gen Z's preferred communication apps?
Discord, Twitch, and Snapchat.
Exactly what intimidates millennials.
And we really see another difference in fashion.
Okay, millennials like to resell a used J. Crew cardigan sweater secondhand.
We love the Real. We love Poshmark. We love ThredUp.
Gen Z loves hauls.
Gen Z loves the hauls.
Shein, the fast fashion app, is 11% more popular with the kids these days than with the slightly older kids.
N equals 16,000. I think it's 11 percentage points, actually.
Gen Z loves fast. Millennials love slow. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies who aren't everyone who wants to know what these generations want?
It's not a difference in preference. It's just a difference in timing.
Yetis, explaining the differences in generational preferences, it isn't about preferences at all.
The way we see it, it's simply about timing.
For example, one surprise in the report was that Gen Z prefers paying with Square's Cash App.
But millennials prefer paying with Venmo.
Now, that sounds like a fundamental difference, but in reality, it's just timing.
We prefer Venmo because that was the only peer-to-peer payment app 10 years ago when we started using it.
And like our little cousins prefer Cash App because that's the cooler option 10 years later.
But millennials and Gen Z, they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, both of us are using apps to send money and we're not using cash.
The difference in brand love between the generations, it's not a preference thing at all.
In many cases, the difference is just about timing. For our second story from the plastics, Nike stock just fell 10% because they got a new problem.
Nike has too much Nike.
It does.
And that could be a great thing
Yeah.
for your Christmas list.
Honestly, Jack, one of the most fun traditions of the last 2 years.
2+.
Yeah.
The Hoarder's Almanac.
Things were running out of because of the pandemic. Jack and I have been keeping track for you.
We've run out a lot of things.
Oh, we
We've
have.
had a shortage of cream cheese, Rolex watches, flowers, lifeguards.
Last week, weren't we running out of butter?
The churned stuff.
We ran out of butter.
But Nike's earnings just revealed the opposite of a shortage.
And Nike sales rose 8%, but the key number that fascinated us was the 44% too much.
Yeah, as in inventories. They were up by 44% compared to last year.
Unsold stuff sitting on Nike shelves rose 44%.
This means Nike's got too much Nikes.
Inventory rose 44% to $9.7 billion. What does that mean, Jack?
That's a lot of extra pairs of sneakers and sweatpants squatting in warehouses, living rent-free with no legs to be put on.
Nike has too much Nike.
Last year, Yetis, Nike, it was the pandemic. They were running out of everything.
Hoarder's Almanac.
There was a 14-week wait for those Air Max 90s.
But this year, Nike is facing the bullwhip effect. It's better than Cookie Crisp, I think.
Supply snapped back like a rubber band, and guess what? They overdid it.
And here's where we see the bullwhip effect. The CEO of Nike just said that a whole bunch of seasons are now landing at the same time.
They have 3 seasons worth of fashion deliveries all coming in at once.
Yeah, for example, they got summer sandals today.
Those showed up way too late.
But they also have winter workout shoes today.
Well, that's the right timing because winter's coming up.
But then, Jack, they also just got a bunch of spring sneakers.
They probably ordered them early thinking it would come late, but it came early.
It came today.
Whose fault is this big mismanagement of inventories?
It's a fair question.
Nike blames are still hiccuping supply chains.
Yeah. Well, now Nike shelves really kind of look like your father-in-law's garage, Jack.
The shelves are just overflowing with random stuff that he says someday he'll find a use for. Will you?
He's never going to use it.
Are you going to use that lumber you found on the sidewalk?
It's developed mold.
Nike was short of Nike.
Yeah, it was.
But now Nike's got several billions too much Nike.
So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Nike?
Prepare for a Christmas of deals.
Oh, Yetis, you'd think that too many sneakers is way better than, not having enough sneakers.
But for Nike, too much of a good thing, it's not a good thing.
And that is why Nike stock lost $13 billion of value in one day last week.
Investors know that Nike is about to go on sale.
Nike's facilities are about to dress up like Overstock.com for Halloween.
Nike just warned investors when promotions go up, like they're probably about to, profits are probably going to come down.
Besties, get ready for 20% off the Air Force Ones.
Get ready for 30% off Air Jordan tees.
Enter Fall 50 at checkout for 50% off everything.
Last chance ends tomorrow.
So we're prepping for a Christmas of deals. Just do it.
Because too much of a good thing, It's not always a good thing, but it is for us shoppers.
Yeah, it is.
Now, a word about our sponsor, Robinhood.
A lot of Yetis don't realize how much prep work goes into this pod.
We spend hours every morning jumping in T-Boy style to earnings reports, CEO tweets, breaking news headlines.
Yeah, Jack and I are toggling tabs like you toggled IM convos in 2004.
Having 8 tabs open can be stressful. You don't need that, especially when investing.
Robinhood offers it all in one app.
Whether you want to trade options, ETFs, or stocks through Robinhood Financial,
Or you want to buy some Bitcoin on Robinhood Crypto.
you can do it all on the Robinhood app.
If you're not investing in Robinhood yet, to get started, go to Robinhood.com/Tboy and choose your free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Limitations apply.
Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. All investments involve risk.
By the way, this podcast is not owned or part of Robinhood, and we are not employees of Robinhood.
For our third and final story to kick off the week, Meta, formerly known as Facebook, is facing the dreaded death spiral.
The only thing to fix a death spiral is with a new face.
We're just going to say it. Wall Street doesn't care that much about sun and moon cycles.
Happy Libra season, by the way.
Yeah, we should point that out. But they're less into the
Astrology.
they're less into the horoscopes.
They care about quarters.
They do. Quarterly stock cycles.
Well, the third quarter just ended, and it was the third straight quarter of negative stock markets.
To sprinkle on some context here, that is the first time we've had 3 straight negative quarters since 2009.
Yeah, that'd be the financial crisis, which led to the Great Recession.
It's a tough comparison, but there is one bright side today.
If you zoom out, the S&P 500 is still up by 13% since the end of 2019.
Ipso facto, we're actually doing better in the stock market than we were pre-pandemic.
Yeah, 13% gain in 2 years. It's not horrible.
But on top of that, bright side is kind of a dark side.
Yeah, after 3 quarters, 2022 has been horrible.
2022 tastes like a hangover feels.
Nick and I jumped in T-Boy style, though, to the scoreboard, and we found a fascinating thing.
Get this. Out of all 500 companies in the S&P 500 stock index, guess who's actually the worst?
It's Netflix.
Netflix. Honestly, I didn't expect.
I didn't expect
But
it.
they're still spending $13 billion on content. Love them.
It hurts my stock portfolio. I wish they'd spend $12 billion on content.
But Jack, they're number 500 there at the bottom. But who is number 499 in the S&P 500?
Facebook. It's second to last on the S&P 500 scoreboard for this 2022.
Zuck's baby stock is down 60% in 2022. And honestly, it's kind of getting worse.
First, Zuck announced a hiring slowdown.
Yeah, fewer metamates out there.
Then he didn't offer even the top performing full-time interns full-time job offers.
And then he did that thing we were talking about, the quiet firing.
You're not fired.
Right.
You just can't work here after next week.
Well, now, as of last week, it is explicit, according to Bloomberg.
At Meta's All Hands last week, Zuck announced the unprecedented. He wants to shrink the size of the workforce.
Facebook has never shrunk their workforce before.
But because ad sales are down and you're scrolling TikTok, not Instagram Reels,
Yeah.
he has to.
From 2004 to 2021, Zuck grew headcount while wakeboarding in a designer hoodie.
2022 is the beginning of the faceplant era.
So, Jack, what is the takeaway for our buddies over at Facebook?
Cut off the face to save the book?
All right, besties, Meta is facing a death spiral, a cascading cycle of problems that beget more problems that beget more problems.
A low stock price leads to job cuts, which hurts morale, which hurts performance, which leads to more lower stock price, and then repeat.
It's a cycle. Now, there is one solution to stopping a death spiral, and that solution is a change of the face.
Now, if the metaverse takes off, or if like TikTok gets banned, Facebook could get out of this death spiral.
Good point.
But it doesn't control those things.
What it does control is who leads Facebook. Only Zuck can replace Zuck.
One dramatic change that could stop Facebook's death spiral is a new CEO.
And honestly, if there ever were a moment, it's right now. It's 2022.
But would Zuck cut off the face to save his book?
Jack, can you and Gretchen Wieners over there whip up the takeaways for us?
Gen Z and millennials, they have some differences in preference.
But do they? Or is it just timing?
I think it might just be timing.
We think it may just be
For our
timing.
second story, Nike, it ordered too much Nike.
So now you get to order more Nike at Christmas for less Nike because they got too much Nike.
For our third and final story, Meta's 2022, it's looking like a death spiral.
Would Zuck cut off the face to save his book? Really thought we had one more bullwhip effect in us, Jack. But there we go.
I'm a court jester.
No. I didn't ask for one more.
I'm proud to be a court jester. It's what the show needs.
Now, time for the best fact yet. This one sent in via voicemail from John Harmer in lovely Ellsworth, Maine.
Push and play.
Let's hit play.
Hey Yetis, this week is National Drive Electric Week, and if you're anything like me, you're probably listening to the pod in your car right now. In the US, our cars burn 8.9 million barrels of gasoline every single day, but only 1.8 million of those barrels actually move our cars forward. That means for every $5 you spend on gas, only $1 actually gets you anywhere. Electric vehicles, on the other hand, are far more efficient. Out of every $5 spent on fuel, $4.45 will actually get you moving. This means you can spend far less money to travel the same distance. Happy driving.
John's quite the EV evangelist.
Honestly, he's a fantastic radio voice. It's way better than ours.
So the gas thing, it's because of idling.
It's because of idling. Like, that's kind of been the fun thing about our electric cars, I found, is when you get to a stoplight,
When you stop, the car's just off.
it just turns off.
And then it's on again when you push the gas.
It's like your iPhone.
And by gas, I mean not gas. I mean juice.
Yetis, you look fantastic to start the week. And remember, when you see someone today, remember to tell them the limit does not exist. Actually, HYHTBOY.
Have you had, statistically significant, the best one yet?
If you know, you know. And before we go, congratulations to legendary Yetis Christina and Aaron, who just bought their first home over the weekend and got engaged.
The old double whammy.
That's a Saturday.
Congrats. And congratulations to Katie Scarr and Ricky DeMello, who are on their 7-month anniversary in New York City.
Peter Yu is celebrating 18 years in the legal profession in Georgetown, Guyana.
Congrats to Damian Todd for getting a new job in Clarksville, Tennessee.
And Nathan Gillard also got a new job in New Berlin, Wisconsin.
I've been there once.
Sounds lovely.
And happy 5-year anniversary to Thomas and Melissa in Phoenix, Arizona.
And congratulations to Ryan Peterson, who's got a birthday down in Minneapolis.
And happy birthday to Juan Fuentes from Chicago, who's celebrating at a bachelor party in New York. I guarantee Juan's in charge of logistics.
It's not even his
It's not
bachelor
even a
party. He
question.
does logistics.
And happy birthday to Andre Wilkinson from Jamaica, New York.
Andre Wilkinson, a legendary YouTubing Yeti.
Andre, he greets us every morning on YouTube. We love it. And to anyone else celebrating something today, make it a T-Boy.
Celebrate the wins.
This is Jack. I own stock of Netflix. Nick owns stock of The Real, and we both own stock of Apple, Block, and Robinhood. Now, a word about our sponsor, Robinhood.
A lot of you listen to our show while you're driving.
2 hands on the wheel. Keep it 10 and 2.
You might be cruising, Chris. No rush. Stay in the right lane.
Or you might be Darlene from Duncan, dotting from lane to lane.
Yeah, there are different drivers on the road. There are different investors too.
Maybe you're cruising down the long-term lane with stock investing, or maybe you're a more advanced full-speed trader.
Well, the Robinhood app helps put you in the driver's seat wherever you're at in your investing journey.
If you're not investing on Robinhood yet, to get started, go to Robinhood.com/T-Boy and choose your free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Limitations apply.
Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, all investments involve risk.
By the way, this podcast is not owned by or part of Robinhood, and we are not employees of Robinhood.
Well, dude, I always thought tunnels went like at the bottom of the riverbed.
They go deep, right?
They go underground. I always thought there might be like a crack and water would come.
I know.
I was
It was a threat. It was always a concern.
That's
That's why you held your breath when you were going from New York to Jersey. It's like, Mom, get out the scuba gear in case we get stuck in traffic.
I don't want to go to Jersey.
This Lincoln Tunnel.
Dude, had it.
Tunnels. Scaring little kids since 1921.